In the past week, Nintendo has given us a piece of holiday art, a new screenshot and some concept art of a new Guardian. There's a ton of interesting details to find, so let's go through it. You're watching Zelda Pod Smashers. Let's start with the exciting stuff, the new screenshot and accompanying concept art. This shows Link inside a shrine, facing a new kind of Guardian. And look at this thing, doesn't he look like R2-D2 with legs and a lightsaber? With Star Wars Rogue One releasing 2 weeks earlier, perhaps the Star Wars hype is getting to Nintendo. I don't mind it at all. In fact, some aspects of Breath of the Wild already reminded me of Star Wars. All of you who have played Majora's Mask, does this blade seem familiar to you? It's based on the awesome looking razor sword from Majora's Mask. Now that's a really nice touch, especially because it's one of the best sword designs in the Zelda franchise. Just a few hours ago, Nintendo released concept art of what is probably the same Guardian. The art shows 2 arms. We were already thinking that the Guardian in the screenshot had 1 arm cut off, but this almost confirms it. We've seen destructible body parts before, but not yet on such an advanced enemy. Each arm here has 3 blades attached. Well, blades? It looks like a walking Swiss Army knife. That bottle opener is impossible to deny. I really wonder if this was just a crazy concept they came up with and then abandoned, or if we will actually see this in the game. Or maybe the Guardian can even change blades during a battle? In this piece of art, the Guardian looks a bit like Koloktos in Skyward Sword. Koloktos had 6 arms and 2 legs, while this Guardian has 2 arms and 3 legs. The only thing they still have in common are the 6 blades, but perhaps that's also been toned down. Although I don't think the fight is going to be very similar, it's always nice to see some familiarity in Zelda designs. Another thing they may have changed is the ears of the Guardian. I guess they felt that it didn't resemble R2-D2 enough. The last change I'll mention here is the middle part of the body. The arms in the concept art are so thick that it doesn't look like it can all be retracted and folded up. The final design of the enemy definitely looks a bit more practical in that regard. So let's park this concept art in the back of our heads and return to the screenshot, because we're not done yet. The base of the sword is exactly like the base of the Sheikah arrow. I have been talking about building or recycling our own Sheikah tech for a while now, and this only confirms the suspicion. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll take that blade and build an arrow with it. But why go for an arrow if you can use the whole thing as a sword? It would be awesome to be wielding a lightsaber in the game. But I don't think it will quite work like that, and this is the reason. The poor Master Sword. This is supposed to be the sword of Evil's Bane, the only blade that can defeat Ganon, the sword that you have to work so hard for to get. If we can run around with lightsabers, are we still going to be excited about the Master Sword? I probably won't. So here's what I think. If we will be able to use these weapons as swords, I think they will have high damage, but very low durability. If you can only swing this blade 10 times before it breaks, it balances itself out. Then you'd still have to rely on the trusty or rusty Master Sword. Nintendo might explain the low durability by describing these items as unstable technology that breaks easily. And then suddenly one of the best things you can do is make an arrow with it. One shot with massive damage. The body of the Guardian seems to be translucent. Light looks to be coming through the head, but it's even more obvious if you look at where the legs are attached to the body. It looks like it has a partly glass body. The other small Guardians definitely didn't have that. I agree with others that this Guardian may have transformed by raising its head from its lower body. I'm looking forward to that oh crap moment. Although Nintendo may have spoiled that moment by releasing this screenshot. Oh well. All in all, it looks much newer and more advanced than the other ones. And since you don't want to run into plasma swords like these in the early game, I'm fairly sure that this is indeed a different kind of Guardian. It makes you wonder what further variety we will find in the Guardians. I have a separate video about the Giant of Death Mountain, which also seems to be a variation of a Guardian, and which looks like it's carrying something big. If these small ones can have swords, can the big ones wield giant blades or different weapons? There are a bunch of red sparks or energy lines coming from the center of its body. Is it charging for an attack, or did Link just land a hit there? It's impossible to say. Okay, let's go through the rest of the picture. I've been trying to find that lantern or that pillar on the right. When I found it, I discovered this room is much bigger than it looks. Look at the pillar in this shot, it's huge. At E3, they said that some shrines will be puzzle focused and others combat focused. So with an intimidating enemy in a huge empty room, we might be looking at a combat shrine here. The formula that Nintendo has been using for decades is first throwing some weaker enemies at you, before one or two stronger guys show up, so we might see the same here. Defeating these enemies will probably unlock this gate. Behind it we see something orange. The shrines are full of bright orange objects, so it could be anything. There are some interesting patterns on the wall. So far I only recognize the Sheikah one. It was in another dungeon where it was glowing blue on and off. There it was also next to a locked gate. These drawings around the Sheikah eye remind me of a bird and of the Hylian crest, but I'm not sure if that's intended or not. Now, I cannot make anything useful of these other markings on the wall, but perhaps you have any ideas? For a while I thought the structure of these walls was new, but it was also in one of the earliest shrines. I still hope we'll see some more variety in the aesthetics of the shrines, but so far nothing. Link's gear isn't anything that we haven't seen before, so let's not spend any time on that. A few days before Christmas, Nintendo also released this piece of art. Now, it probably doesn't mean all too much, because the painter seems to just have some fun with these promotional holiday drawings. But still, there are two things that I want to mention. 2 out of these 3 art pieces show Wolf Link in them. Is it just the artist that likes the wolf pet? Or do the developers also realize how nice it is to have a pet? I still think it's a shame if they will limit the pet system to an amiibo that didn't sell very well. After seeing Link in this hut with a guardian outside, I was reminded of this stealth scene from the reveal trailer. We know that Link can sneak to avoid enemies, and now I want to lock myself in a cozy hut to hide from a guardian. I really hope we'll get a scene like that in the game. That's all I could find in this week's Breath of the Wild news. Did I miss anything? Please share your thoughts in the comments, I always enjoy reading those. By the way, lots of viewers have been so kind as to say that I deserve more views and more subscribers. I'm slowly getting there, but if you want to help out, the best way right now is to share my videos in places where it makes sense. Comments on other analysis videos or on Facebook posts, your favorite gaming forum maybe, things like that. Just don't spam or anything, that would make me feel bad. In a week you'll get the next weekly analysis, and I'm also trying to get out my timeline theory in the coming week. Enjoy your weekend and thanks for watching Zelda Pot Smashers.